Testing. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello there. Yes, hello there. This is Spirit Journey, and today is good old Friday. Oh, wow. Good old Friday. And the time is here. Let me check. The time is, it's July 7th, 2023, and it's about 5:32 p.m. Yes, I embrace time. I am fascinated with time, even though they say time is just an illusion, but we use it to try to ground us here while we're in this 3D existence. And I entitled this live stream, What is the Metaphysical World Telling Us? And I'm going to mention different things, and I feel they're all related, metaphysically or maybe spiritual thing. It's the signs of the times, I think. And I did a video earlier today, and I did a video while I was at the park, and I noticed there were some things that stood out, and how I'm trying to put things together. Sometimes you might see things and you don't remember maybe mentioning or seeing certain things. And so I'm just going to do like a little recap of what I talked about earlier this morning. I did a 14-minute live stream, and I'm going to do like a recap of that because I think it's related to, well, I'm wondering whether it's related to what's going on behind the scene. When I say metaphysical, what's going on in the non-physical world that is active. You may not see it, but it is very, very active, and it can affect us. And I will mention certain things that happened to me yesterday in my storytelling of events that I have experienced. And maybe you have experienced it also. That's also why I'm sharing this, because I want to find out, is there anybody else out there have experienced certain metaphysical, supernatural, spiritual events? There are things that are happening. Why are they happening? So earlier today, um, I spoke of these leaves. Now, it has been raining all this year. And I mean, last year we had a drought, and yes, I understood because it didn't rain as much, why the leaves seemed very crispy and all that. But you didn't have like leaves all over the ground. When I went to the park today, there were buku amount of dried, very brown leaves on the ground. So much that we had the gardeners with blowers and blowing the leaves away from the sidewalk. It was that much, and I showed you these leaves. Yes, so good afternoon, viewer. Good afternoon. I see we got a visitor out there. Good afternoon. I'm just really getting started. Please say hello in the chat room if you wish. Don't be shy. So, then I also mentioned about, yes, good morning, viewers. Yes, come on in. I think we're going to have a good show, but it's always an even better show when you guys get involved in the conversation. So I hope it's not going to be too one-sided. I love to get your feedback. So I also mentioned earlier today about our borders. And our borders are getting very permeable. And with that, We are being under siege, I think. And right before our eyes, and how they're in the thousands now of people from China entering the US illegally. Now, I would have thought that this was foolish talk, let's say maybe 10, 15 years ago. Why would a Chinese person need to smuggle across the border from our southern border? It sounds ridiculous to me. But it is happening. And 3 years ago, let's say 2021, the amount at the border was 200 something, but now it's in the thousands. What's happening? I think things are positioning itself. And as I mentioned earlier today, that news footage regarding our permeable southern border, you don't think they're coming from the north border? You don't think they come from from Canada? But either way, people coming any which way they can. But what is being set up? And that is the question. And that some of these things metaphysically might be warning us that there are things ahead. And like the trees around us at the park, and I showed you how green they were, yet on the ground, they were as brown can be and as crispy as cornflakes. Yes, they're very, very crispy and dark brown. How, what, why? But I did ask the parks people, and they said, "Oh, we have a drought." And I said, "Well, how you figure? It's been raining almost every day." But that was his answer. And he seemed very nervous when I inquired about it. I mean, the barks of the trees are coming off. It's the bark of the trees and the leaves, tons of it. I mean, it was very lush because it's raining. And for, even just, let's say one day of drought or something. I mean, it was raining yesterday. The ground was so wet. And my dogs were like my little Shih Tzu. Her body was all wet because she was walking on the grass. And my pants, the cuff part is all drenched with dew. It was so wet out there. So go figure. Go figure. See, this is a narrative. They want to tell us something. And they're telling us, okay, the drought. They want you to look at the right hand, but the left hand is doing the speaking under the table. And I think metaphysically we should start looking under the table, and that the signs are there, like the brown leaves. So I'm going to be mentioning certain things that I experience, and try to tie it all in there. All these different things that are around us. Well, I also heard today, once I got home. Yeah, I got home today from the park, and it was very hot. It felt very hot. It was in the 70s, and 83% humidity. 83%. I felt very sick when I was on my way home. I just did a quick run, and I was on my did my route and headed home, and I felt I had these little cramps starting in my upper part of the stomach. Yeah, the upper part, and I couldn't wait to get home. Yeah, I felt wiped out. So when I got home, I just got my dog settled, got a liter of water, and put my electrolytes in it, and just chilled out. Yep. So I fell asleep after I ate, took a little nap, and so now I'm up and doing this live stream. Yeah, what's going on out there? Yes, good afternoon, viewer. Good afternoon. Welcome. Um, So I want to try to tie different things in. So I did mention about the, what's happening, and we have to start noticing the left hand. We're too preoccupied with what the right hand is doing, and there's things happening underneath, and I'm wondering metaphysically what could be going on. Um, and I think the brown leaves at the beginning of, what's it? This is maybe 2.5 weeks from the start of summer. It's July 7th. So we're having so much brown leaves all of a sudden. Um, I'm reminded because I was thinking about China entering the US. I mean, I've made mention about China in a video that I did maybe 7 years ago. It was some news that I heard about Canada and the buying up of the properties there, and the local Canadians cannot afford to buy a home. And I knew that whatever happens to Canada will be happening here. And as we know, with the COVID-19, many of the businesses fell in clusters. But who is now able to afford the new rents? Yeah, even before this C19, businesses were falling out, but not like the past 3 years, but just before the past 3 years, businesses were falling out because the rent was jumping so high. And so there, I believe that what it looks like to me is that um, social engineering is taking place. See, even though like things happen, may manifest, but it was already happening before, but we never really noticed. Yeah, things were happening. Things were really being set up maybe even 6, 7 years ago. So I was just thinking over it was China and the possible implication. And again, I am not anti the chinois. Okay, it's not about the people, the general population of that nation. I have a concern about the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. And I believe that the party, the CCP, is trying to take over the US. It is not about the continent of Asia and Asian people. Nope, I'm not about that. It's not about that. It's not being targeted against the people, the general population, but the communist regime that is trying to infiltrate. And that's what I made mention some years back. And here to find out that several thousand people enter the southern border from China. And, and then something just clicked in me, just my memory. Like a lot of times you hear things and then you don't put the pieces together. Well, um, it could have been 2 years ago at the most. I had this very bizarre dream. And also to preface that this person, I watched this YouTuber who made mention about our southern border, and he notices trends and uh, things. I would say metaphysically and numerology. He notices colors in particular, and he's been educating about some of the how the people, uh, the cabal, or whatever you want to call them, that they communicate between each other by color. And one of the colors that he mentioned is what's called Tiffany Blue. To me, Tiffany Blue is like a light blue. And he made mention of this, over a year now. I've been watching him a little over a year. But when somehow, when I was doing the live stream earlier today in the park about the leaves and our southern border being infiltrated, and I'm thinking about that it could be like a military thing being taken over, slowly. And then, boom, my memory about this dream that I had last year. And that's what I want to talk about. Yes, it wasn't a long dream, and it felt real. Like the dream. I'm sorry, just turn off this light. This light is getting really hot in here. Yeah, it's very hot, even though the air conditioner is on. Yeah, make sure you drink your water, people. So, okay. Um, I was like, I live in New York City, people, and I was what looked like uptown Manhattan in Harlem. At least the buildings, the neighborhood looked like this place around 125th Street. And I was who I am. And I mean, why would mention it like that? I am or who I was, what I am. Like I could be in something, but I could be um, a different age, a different gender, a different, I felt like me in this current life that I'm living. And I remember I was with a man. I don't know who the man was. Could be in his 40s, around. And I gather he was like a vendor. He sells little knickknacks from on the street. The sidewalk. I remember that uh, he was pointing at some of the objects he was selling on the ground, and then I remember we were running or something. We were running away from something, but then the next thing I remember that we're on somewhere around 125th Street. There were the apartment complexes there, and it's nighttime, and I see a police car, and it's speeding. I'm trying to remember now. I remember whether it was the police car or somebody else's car, did like a fishtail, and then the next thing I see that a cop tackles a black man, young black man, and there's some scuffle in the middle of the street. And then I turned to my left, and I see a whole slew of police. They were riot gear police. They're in riot gear. And I can see that it looked very real. You can see how, like, the street lights were reflecting off of the uniforms of the policemen. They had these giant shields. Now, this is the first time I ever saw something like, the type of shield they had was very tall. It was almost, let's see, it was maybe 2/3 or even more, you know, of the height of the person. Yeah, so it was pretty high. It stood the like the shield. It was like a plexiglass shield or something see through, and it was tall. And they had in front of them. There was a pack of them, maybe uh, 20, 30 of them just standing. It was a pack of them, and they're all standing shoulder to shoulder, and they had these helmets on. But what was weird about their uniform that makes me mention this, they were wearing Tiffany Blue. Tiffany Blue. Now, what's Tiffany Blue? To me, I call a Tiffany Blue, it's like a light blue, but this was a little weird. Now, New York City does have this new car. It's it's like it's a pale blue It serves like a taxi or something that they take you to where you need to go. And it's a little different. I've never used it, but it's different than the Uber. This one, they're all that funny color blue. And at this time, I never saw a uniform like that. A cop, because here in New York City, the cops with this navy. It's really dark blue, almost looks black. So they don't wear things like that. And even if they wear riot gear or something like that, they don't wear that. This was different. They had because how the light reflected off the clothing of the riot gear. I think the helmet also was that funny light color blue slash Tiffany blue. It's like it it's it's like a blue that I call it a pasty blue because I mean it's a rich color. It's a pale version of blue, but it's still like a rich color. And it's I call it pasty because it's like as if someone added white paste to it to give it this weird undertone color. And these police in wearing this riot gear were wearing this, the helmet and the uniform. And so I started to wonder, say, wait a minute, this fellow YouTuber who is educating about how the cabal, the people who um, are orchestrating possibly the things that we see politically, that they speak in colors. And one of them is this Tiffany Blue. So I'm wondering, guys, did I have a premonition? That not it seemed very real. A lot of dreams I have, it's I feel it's almost make believe, just very symbolic, and not I don't take it serious, but I felt in my body. I felt like I was really living in this part of town. I don't live there on 125th Street in Manhattan. A very it's a very historical area. Um, it's a lot of people of Black and West Indian. Now you also have newcomers from West Africa, and now you also have people from uh, what they call Latin America. It's a blending of a lot of different groups. Um, but I saw this, and I was afraid. I saw I know they had clubs too, but what stood out was the shield, the protective shield that they had, because it was so tall. Has anybody out there, have any of you ever saw a officers or people, uh, like a military force wearing this weird color blue? It's a weird color. It's a pasty blue, lighter bluish color. I understand in part that I think the UN. See what I'm getting at. Um, I believe maybe this dream was a premonition of what's to come, and I'm wondering whether, like this YouTuber that I've been watching, and he's warning people about the signs of the times and this color, Tiffany blue. And here, some years before I even heard of this YouTuber, and I had a dream about um, police, or riot police wearing this funny color. Were these? I'm wondering, are these UN troops? Are these UN troops that is to come in the future? So again, just trying to link things together. Maybe it might be stretching it a bit, but it just felt so real, the dream. And that color, it just didn't make sense. And again, some things are color coded, and maybe at the time that it's showing me these different, because it's preparing me, because you're going to see this color a lot. And we do start, well, mostly we see a lot of purple now. A lot of purple. Yeah, a purple's another one of their colors. There's purple, or to wear the colors red and black together, and the colors black and white. And you'll be seeing these colors a lot together when there's an event, a disastrous event. You're going to see certain colors pop all the time. But Tiffany Blue, I think it's a warning. It's to let you know. I think it's preparing us ahead of time that you're going to have some police officers, and they're going to be super decked out. Yeah, their riot gear they look very protected. Yeah. And what else now they're going to mention? I had a weird night. I had a weird night. Now, yes, yesterday was a pretty good day. I felt more organized, and I want to try to get my life more structured. And so I promised myself that I was going to, when I came home from outside with the dogs, that I'll try to set up for the next day. I'll get my elixir drink that I do in the morning. Get little things done, because I felt I get tired when I come home. I said, okay, let me just get the essentials done now. And so then after that, after I eat for the day, that's it. I just chill out and then go to bed, and then wake up the next morning. So I set up everything early, and I took a nice shower. Um, I had an injury on my baby toe on my right foot some months ago, maybe 4 months ago. And so I'm trying to treat it. My doctor's appointment, I have to wait a couple of months, about a month and a half from now, for my appointment. Things are so backed up here. Yeah, that's another thing that's happening here. One of the clues, everything's backed up. So we have a large deluge of people from, what they call migrant workers. And so with them, they're entitled to go, use your doctors. And so it's all backed up. The place that I go to, it's a new place that I just started going to. Well, it's catered to these people as well. So it's a long waiting list, and so it's affecting it. It affects everybody. So either way, I mean, I want everybody. If you're sick, I want everybody treated, regardless of their status. But I'm concerned how it's impacting the working class people here. The people who are legally residing here. Um, so I had put this. I was experimenting. My baby toe. I hit the side of it. I did get an X-ray when it happened. They said it's not broken, but the pain, and it's getting bigger. The injury site. And so, taking a nice shower, feeling more relaxed. I was massaging the foot, and I put this cream on it. And then I got this sock, and then I had these batteries, people. I heard that magnets could expedite healing of injuries. And so I had this, I'm not sure the pronunciation, but it's something like neodymium, neodymium magnets. They're super, super strong magnets. And I had put them in, I wrapped them up like in a tube. This YouTuber was sharing about, how you could um, use these things for healing and things like that. So a couple of years ago, I took these um, magnets and wrapped them up in tubes. And so I had the two tubes of these magnets filled with magnets, and I put it on the injury site, one on top of the injury and one on the bottom of the injury. And I used the sock to keep it in place, you know. So I put the sock on and I shoved the two tubes of the magnets, the powerful neodymium magnets in there. And I'm feeling real good, people. Oh, yeah, I was feeling really good last night. Just relax and everything's in order. I got everything ready for the next day, my clothes set up for the next day, and I'm feeling really good. I had the curtains down because I'm trying to get more sleep. And so I started praying, just praying to the universe. But I also gave a word of protection, spoke words of protection over me and my little dogs as we were in bed resting. And I just felt like, because I knew I was going to start talking, praying. And when I say pray, I mean just to talk to the universe, your higher power, or whoever who that power may be for you. And I'm feeling good. And I was praying for a few actually. I know it's over an hour. I love to get what we call um, what do you call it? Introspective. It's something that I've always done, uh, and so I'm doing this. And I noticed something. Something happened to me. It's really weird what happened. Um, I think it might have been 2 hours since I started communicating with my higher power, and I also gave her a word of protection over myself. All of a sudden, where the magnets are, my right foot, a sharp buzzing feeling came out from my foot. I said, "Whoa, what was it?" It was powerful. It and it was in a very specific spot on my foot, and it just radiated out. And then the sensation was going up my leg, and I got a little scared. Yes, I did. I did. I said, "What was going on?" See, this is not the first time actually that I have a meditation area in my apartment, and I used to have it set up with this. Yeah, I like to experiment and try different things, and maybe some people might say, hey, you got to be careful what you're experimenting with, but I always give a word of protection over myself. Um, I I used to have this area set up in my apartment, and I would put my feet in for grounding. My purpose was grounding. I filled up this wooden bucket. It's a plant. It's for plants. It was made for plants, but it's a wooden one, and I filled it with sand that you can purchase at those garden places. And in addition to that, I purchased these. Um, Copper plates. It's like a medallion of pure 99.9% pure cotton. I mean, not cotton, copper. Excuse me, I said cotton. Copper. I meant to say copper, the metal copper. And I put it under my bare feet. And I started doing a meditation. And I remember then the contact point where the copper and my skin were, it started like buzzing. It felt like a buzzing. I mean, I didn't hear a sound, but I felt it very strong on my foot. And it actually feels good, actually. So, but like last night, I had those batteries. Now those batteries, it's some type of metal, and it's magnetized very strongly. And that buzzing thing happened. People, has that ever happened to you? Have you ever experimented? Have you ever had like some type of conductor, or let's say you're uh, in a mindfulness. That's the word I'm thinking of. Mindfulness. You're in a mindful mood, and you're thinking or you're praying. Let's say you might have a cross in your hand, or a religious item in your hand. Or there's something to you it's spiritual. Maybe you had stones, crystals in your hand, and then it starts to vibrate. It was so powerful. But the thing is, it didn't happen like, because I had two of them, two tubes, it's like what like a roll of nickels look like, when you go to the bank, when we used to have change in those days, those holders, that's what it looked like. But it's filled with these powerful magnets, and I shoved it in my sock. So you would think that the whole roll of it touching the skin was vibrating. No, it was like a central spot on my foot, my right foot, near the area where the injury was, and that was vibrating. And it lasted a couple of seconds, and I got a little scared. I have to be honest. Because I didn't expect it. And I would tell myself, okay, just relax. But then I started to feel funny in my chest. See what happens with the human body when there's fear. See, it takes time for the adrenaline to get in your blood system. When that happens, you can't stop it. Once that initial adrenaline comes up out of your glands, it goes in your blood system and it hits your receptors, and you're going to have a fear or anxiety response or panic response. So I had to tell myself, I said, okay, I know what's going to happen. And your mind is trying to fight it. I said, oh God. So I had to tell myself, so, okay, I know what happened. Uh, there was initial response of uh-oh, why is this thing vibrating? But just know that's probably when the alarm system in your body hits. And now it's going to go through a course, and you're going to probably feel a little panic. And that's what happened. My heart started racing. Yeah. Um, no, I took it out. No, before the heart started pumping real hard, I said, let me take off these magnets from my foot. So I just pulled the whole sock out and put it on the ground. But again, I started to feel funny in my body. And I just tell myself, you have to really speak to yourself, because what can happen if you get a panic, you don't want any panic attack to escalate. You have to keep your mind together. So you have to mentally remove yourself from what's happening physically, because it's two separate things. See it just as a physical response, but don't let your brain engage, your emotions to engage, like a panic. You don't want that. So the feeling's going to hit your body. Don't let it hit your mind. And that's what I had to do. And there are these tapping exercises that you can do. They're pressure points in the body. And some of them are like right above your eyebrows, both of them. Um, you're right underneath your eye, where your cheekbone is, above your top lip, below your bottom lip, right by the collarbone, uh, the sides of, I think, right, but on the side of your breast, right near your breast, your your side and the top of your head, and you tap yourself and you say things like, even though I feel anxiety, I accept myself fully. And you could give other things, words of empowerment to yourself, that you love yourself, that I'm strong, whatever it might be for you. But that's basically how it goes. And sometimes when you do that, you really get, if done correctly and persistent, if you get an anxiety attack or panic attack, that is a good line of defense because you don't want it to escalate. Okay. Because the body is like a loop and you can actually scare yourself. And I've done that before, that you go through something, um, something, hit your subconscious or whatever. And you have to make sure you have to really stand your ground. Say, okay, this is just, okay, this such and such happened. you, it takes time to get in your blood system the adrenaline, some type of response, but just stay focused and try to separate yourself because you're not having a heart attack. That's what the fear that you're going to have a heart attack. So it works. I mean, I think it's important that I mention these things because the signs of the time, people are going to be under attack, mental attack, and are they using weapons upon people? And I've shared an event that happened to me at a restaurant, and it was some type of I think it was an EMF, electromagnetic uh, frequency. They, it's a technology that has been around for a while. Um, the subject of targeted individual came out. I first heard about the terminology in 2016. That's 2016. And a lot of people were talking about it. And my attack happened in 2018. And I was with somebody when it happened. And I heard the person's voice. And these things, they can trigger certain parts of your brain to elicit certain types of response. And it can also cause erratic heartbeat. And that's what they also did to me. Yeah, it was very frightening. I thought initially there was something with the food. Yeah, I was just finishing up my water. We were there for 2 hours when boom, this series of events happened. Yeah, it attacks your mind. Uh, they can make you hear something. They can cause your heart race. They can cause your ears to pop. Get in pain. They can make you get diarrhea. All these symptoms. And I got checked out. They did a blood and urinalysis. They checked my stool. No, they couldn't find anything wrong. Because, see, you have people who, for whatever reason, they might hang out a certain, who knows? I don't know whether because they were listening to certain of my content back there in 2018. I am the same person as from 2018, 2023. But it's the same format I do. And it was the same year I interviewed that guy. What's his name? Tony Rodriguez. Yeah, he was targeted also. He alleged that he was also kidnapped and forced uh, enslavement, and was working off planet. And you have this genre of super soldiers, secret space program, and I think the TIs are related to that as well. I think so. And it's a growing genre out there. So you have people who might be watched by other people. And I think also I am a veteran, so I've been in the military. And I'm wondering whether, well, this one video that I heard today, that you have people who they do contracts. This one woman said that her family was in I think in the military, and they have to sign away. They don't, I don't think they really realize to the extent, but it's you sign away your rights and your children's rights and your children's rights, that they can do experiments on them, all sorts of things. And I'm wondering, when I entered the military, I don't remember anything like signing away. I mean, we all know when you sign up in the military, your rights aren't yours. But I do not recall anything to the extent that the right to experiment. No way, no way. But I'm just trying to put pieces together. That yes, that I did get targeted in 2018. It was a very terrifying event, and it might have been even more terrifying if I didn't have anybody with me, because I would have, I'm who knows. So if something like this, I mean, if you're not known to have heart disease, things like that, then you just try to stay calm. Or if you know you do have heart disease, whatever, try to stay calm. You don't want it to escalate. And doing the pressure point tapping that I told you about, what that does, it kind of distracts you, and it does work. And if you keep on doing it, let's say your privacy of your home or something like that, or you're in a park, because see, things can happen. And that was another thing with last night when I got this anxiety thing. Yeah, like first the thing with the foot. Then I pulled the sock off. So if there was something due to the magnet that I put inside the socks, whatever was happening, but you could feel the sensation of the chemical messengers coming up your leg. And I said, oh gosh, this is usually going to mean that your heart is going to race, because you know, I know my body. I know how my body reacts. So I have to be on top of it. And I also noticed what happened to me last night. I mean, again, I went to bed feeling real good. I had everything set up for the next day, had a wonderful shower. It just feeling really good when I went into bed. Sometimes when you meditate or pray, or be what you call mindfulness, um, you kind of let yourself, yourself is becoming more open. Um, your Oh, let me get my little doggy. Once he got down. Okay, here you go. Okay, I had to put him down on the floor. Yeah, you feel more vulnerable. Don't it's like you ever go to church or been to any type of house of worship, and you look at the minister, don't you notice after a sermon, when they do one, they look wiped out. They are the most vulnerable spiritually at that point. Because see, when you're mindful, you are tapping into different dimensions. You are tapping into different dimensions. And your body is a tool for that dimension. It's like you're an antenna. And what is an antenna? It's something that picks up frequencies. And it can pick up any frequency, many types of frequencies, not just one. It sends and it receives. Well, when you're open due to being mindful, prayerful, whatever you want to call it, your door is open. And sometimes things might come in. And let's say your body is just sensitive. I think my body is just sensitive. I'm not talking about spookism. No, not spookism, but the spiritual realm, the metaphysical realm, the unseen world affects each of us in different ways. And so when I was being, I had the magnets in my foot because of the injury, and I was hoping that I would heal it faster. Those magnets, and then my being mindful or prayerful, meditative, communicating um, to my higher power, an activation occurred. And it's not the first time of this type, of an activation. It's really weird, people. In this case, the first trigger was the foot, the vibration, extreme vibration at a specific spot in my foot. And then in the past, I remember being I had eaten lunch, and I had eaten something, and again I was became prayerful, or mindfulness, and then that same type of, like, it's like a shift happening in your, I think it's a shifting that's occurring in your energy body. Because see, we they say that we are energy beings, and the different layers of this energy that comprise of us. And I think when there's a shifting in that energy, or maybe what you call an opening occurring, that's when it hits you. And so whether it be like yesterday night or in the past, I believe it's all the same phenomenon. And everything could be real. That's what's really weird about it. And that's what I want to find out with you guys. Have you ever been prayerful? You're alone. Everything's good. No, there's nothing wrong. And then it could be like a stillness in the air, something like that. That's also what it was. It was a stillness in the air that occurred. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did eventually fall asleep. Like the thing with the foot, the vibration. I took the thing off. Yeah, I fell asleep. I said, let me just relax and just go to sleep. Yeah, so I did fall asleep, but I awakened at 2:30, and the air, it just seemed very still. The air, everything, it just super still, and boom, that's when this anxiety thing hit me. But I heard that something occurs at two, what's that, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Our circadian rhythm, it at that time I was told, your body produces cortisol because your levels fluctuates. So in the morning it picks up, and I think it also produces glucose also. Cortisol is a stress hormone, but it's also a hormone that regulates your sleeping patterns, and it naturally goes all higher and then lower different parts of the night. And so maybe I woke up because of the circadian rhythm, but it was like a stillness that happened in it was something, it was super quiet. And again, I love peace and quiet, but it triggered something in me. And that's when I had the like a panic I felt in my chest, like my heart started racing real fast. So that's, yeah, I did the pressure point tapping that I just described, with the above the brow, above the lip, below the lip, etc., etc. Yeah, yeah, you gotta stay real calm. Drinking water might help also. But I feel that, I share this because, see, I know I'm not alone. I don't do drugs or anything like that. I live a very clean life. I don't need any any more complications. Life alone is complicated. So I don't drink and I don't do drugs or anything like that. I don't smoke anything. Um, yeah, I feel that your body is the temple of your higher power, and don't exploit, don't harm it. You know. So I'm wondering whether the part of this metaphysical, the unseen world, is something trying to warn us. Yeah, and then I remember my yeah, because I couldn't go back to sleep. Once I woke up at 2:30 and the anxiety slash panic attack happened, um, my computer wasn't working. I said to myself, well, since I can't go back to sleep, this anxiety thing, and I just finished doing the tapping, pressure point tapping exercises. I said, hey, let me get my iPad and watch some videos. So I remember watching one, and then I was going to watch a second one, and um, my Wi-Fi, my something happened, and I couldn't watch any videos. Yeah, so there was so there's some interference happening, people. Okay, so I had the anxiety slash panic attack, and then the Wi-Fi, or the transmission gets compromised, and I couldn't watch videos for a while, and then eventually it comes back on. Yeah, so it might have been something happening in the air that was some type of interference frequency interrupting your ability to go online. So I thought that was interesting. Um, Also, um, so I finally got to, since my computer wasn't working, I said, let me just see if I can do a meditation real quick, you know. And I'm glad I did. I had a vision. Another one, yeah. I don't do the visions as much as before, um, but I did do it again, and I'm wondering. See, I think these things that I'm seeing for a reason, and I'm wondering, is it a warning? But yeah, I had a vision. I do this technique of meditation, and my eyes are closed, and then I see the vision. It just lasted for a couple of seconds. I had a vision. My eyes were closed, and it's dark in my room. It's probably like, it's maybe 3 a.m. in the morning. But I saw, yeah, it's like when your eyes are closed, the area where the vision appears is from the bottom right. So those of you who are specialists of the brain and how it works, um, with me, for whatever reason, the vision appears on the bottom right of my screen. If you think of your eyes closed and all the darkness that you see, things could appear on the top. It could be on the very bottom, but at least in my case, it always seems to appear on the bottom right of my vision. Again, even though my eyes are closed. And what I saw was this. There was some type of room. It looked, yeah, I have visions of space, of outer, what I feel is outer space. Yes. Hello, viewers. Yes. I had a vision about outer space, what I saw. And I remember there was an opening in a wall. It looked like it was a round opening And the outer edge of this opening, that I could imagine that it's able to open and close, and it was spiky, like little zigzags. And when it closes, they all line up, but it was open. And then to the right of that, I saw a spacecraft. And the spacecraft, it was interesting. It was, mm, it reminded me of, you're going to laugh, but this shape would kind of remind me of with a ballet slippers, the toe shoes. That's what it reminded me of. That shape. It had a flat front, and the sides were narrow, and it looked metallic. You can see the light reflecting off of um, the surface of the craft. It wasn't that big. It seemed maybe 20 feet or something like that. It wasn't big, and it had all these metal gadgets all throughout it. And it lasted just a couple of seconds. And again, when I get my vision, many times it appears on the bottom right. And I know that has to do with something with the brain. See, when you have certain visions where they appear, it's certain parts of my brain that's activated. And so, if any of you who's an expert or knows someone, have them listen to that, or tell them where I get my visions on my screen of my eye, my third eye, that is. And what is the significance of the image appearing, what seems to be appearing from the bottom right corner of my third eye? What I appear, what seems to be on my screen, the screen of my third eye. Very interesting. It's not the first time, people, that I saw spacecraft, but it's the first time I saw that one. Yeah, they're different types. I've seen others in prior uh, meditation sessions, more round in shape, a lot of gadgets on the outside. Another time in a meditation, um, I saw a smooth white cigar shaped craft, and it had a red light in front. That I remember. Yeah. They say that with people like after World War II, the powers at that time, they escaped, but they continued with their space activity. And so they say those that have like seams in it, those are the human ones. But they have those that are made by ETs. The ET ones, they claim, is seamless. It's just one piece. There's no like seams connecting. It's all like a membrane over it. So one I saw had it just a lot of gadgets on the outside. Again, it's like narrow, long and narrow, and with a flat front. That I remember. And I said, boy, that reminds me of a ballet slippers. That's what I said in the vision. Yes, I'm wondering the increased amount of space activity that I'm seeing. Again, I don't do drugs or anything like that. Why now there is so much these outer space activity? Have any of you ever had any during your meditation? Do you also see spacecrafts or so-called aliens? Yeah, and in another vision I had earlier this year, I told you this before. I saw what looked like a crocodile face, like it was a being, and it had the face of a crocodile, and it was wearing a red robe with a hood on, and is with 3 or 4 humans, and they were standing shoulder to shoulder, looking straight ahead, as if they're looking on. There was some activity going on in that room. I got the impression that they were about to start an event, and this was a vision that I saw. I'm seeing. It was very clear. Yeah, the crocodile being was the only one wearing the red, and the others were wearing, I think, black. Yeah, it was dim lighting, but it was lit enough that you can tell that that was a red color. Yeah, big fell. Yeah, a lot of the things that certain people were discussing, like David Icke, he's mentioning things, and in my meditation, it's coming about as being true. And I watched these videos on near death experiences. And this lady that I was watching today, um, she had family that was in the military, and yeah, it was she that was telling that people get into these certain programs. Yeah, she believed the person I saw today in the video. She says she was abducted, and her family, her sister, was abducted, and that certain people are selected. Um, they might have been in might have had family in the military, and that they have to sign this notice that giving an okay that they could do experiments on your descendants. And back in the day, people, men had to enlist. I forget the term that they use, when it was mandatory. Yeah, back in the day with my folks, it was mandatory for men to go into the military. Oh yeah, you did a 2 year stint, and then you come back home. I'm wondering. I'm wondering, was I being tracked? I wonder if I'm being monitored, and I'm wondering what my real purpose in this world. What is your? Don't you ever wonder what your purpose in this world is? I'm no different than anybody. I was raised, I think, like everybody else, but things are happening. What is happening to you? Start noticing patterns that might be happening in your life. Are you now more sensitive to things in the spiritual realm? And again, you don't do any drugs or anything, but you see more with your third eye. Your body is more sensitive. What's going on? Yeah, it's also in the media. They're talking more about spacecrafts. What they call it? UFOs. They call it UFOs, and extraterrestrials. Yeah, they exist. Those spacecrafts exist, but I've never seen the ones that the media talks about. I've never seen that. And I think what they're showing you is the Hollywood version. Those things, I've never seen them. Never saw the ones that Hollywood shows. Never. But I realize that these things do exist. Spacecrafts exist. I never saw any stars. Some of the visions I've had is out in space, some type of. My impression was that I'm in probably an even larger craft. and it's like it was the mother ship, and then the baby ships are right outside against a black sky. There was no stars. I didn't see any stars, but you saw a whole fleet of ships, space ships. They were all identical in appearance. They're relatively small. They were small. They're there, people, and they're going to try to scare you. And it's coming out like, what's his name? Greer. I think his name is Stephen Greer. He was an emergency room doctor, and he held what do you call it? Not a conference. You know, when you have a gathering, and he contacted the press, and he had people, what you call whistleblowers, to share about this UFO experiences and to have disclosure. But see, don't be afraid. See, I think a lot of the things are just people. They're humans like us. They live and die. And I think that they're manipulated, that they're desperate. There's desperation happening out there. And they want you afraid. And but go beyond what they're telling you. Start noticing. See, they want you to look at the right hand, but you must look at the left hand. See, they're preoccupying us with all this stuff, mumbo jumbo. You know, yeah, they're spacecrafts. Yes, they are. And I feel that there's a rush that they need to get something done by a certain time because they know that time is up. They know the time is up. And it's something with this current administration. Something with this current administration. Did you guys hear the news that they found uh, some cocaine in the White House? Hello, people. Don't you think that's another distraction? You don't think that some of the, and none of the Bidens were at home at the time on Sunday? But somehow someone was able to get through security this paraphernalia, this powder in this little envelope. How did that happen? Was it a stash where when they come back home that they can get some? What was that? Why would you do that? Why would they? See, they're not thinking. See, they're getting cocky and cocky. Yeah, they're getting real sloppy. Very, very sloppy out there. Why are they so sloppy? Why? Why? It's like they don't care. They know their time is short, and they want to do what they can get away with because they feel that they have an immunity. So there was something else. Another thing that's happened. See, I think that a lot of things are being weaponized. Guess what else has happened that I heard today? We have another malaria outbreak. I just heard today. Yes, they said the prior outbreak was in 2003, 20 years ago. And this malaria, they believe, is coming through from our southern border. Malaria, people, is a tropical disease, and you don't want it. You don't want that. I mean, place like New York right now, it's hot and humid. It's extremely humid today. Yeah, I couldn't take it outside today. I felt very sick coming home, and I hydrated before I left. I took my electrolytes. I had a close to a liter of water before I went out there. Yeah, I was out there a total of 3 hours, and it was early in the morning. It wasn't even. It was very cloudy. Oh God, I couldn't wait to get home. I felt sick. Yeah, I got home early, and I said, I'm not going back out there. It was too hot. Yeah, so now I don't remember it getting this hot so soon in comparison to the other prior years. But now, on top of everything, a new malaria outbreak. And malaria is a tropical disease. I had something like malaria. I had what's called dengue fever. Dengue fever, a tropical disease. I used to live in the Caribbean for a couple of years in the 1990s, early 90s. You wouldn't want it. I mean, I was very young at the time, but when you get older, your body's more sensitive. Yeah, you get real hot, you get fever. And that's all that I remember, that I felt weak and tired. And then the fever hit you. I had a 205-degree Fahrenheit fever. It's not a good feeling, people. And then on top of it, you get these itchy palms. Unreal. But what helped me bear through it when the itching happened, I put cayenne pepper on my palms of my hand. Just something, someone that I met um, taught me earlier in the season about the benefits of cayenne pepper. And I remember I must have bought some. I didn't know of it back, prior to her, but I bought some. Luckily I did. I used it for my palms. I'm not a doctor though. I mean, I'm just sharing with you what I did to endure. Yeah. And with dengue, you according to them, you have to get to the hospital before the symptoms really manifest. Within the first 24 hours, you have to get to be diagnosed. And I came after 24 hours because I really wasn't feeling well. They said, "Oh, there's no way for us to tell since you didn't come right away, but you could, take some aspirin." And they charged me for aspirin that I never took, that they never gave me, and they put it on my bill. And I remember bringing the bill. I said, "I didn't get this." Yeah, no way I'm not going to pay for something that I didn't get. So yeah, I say, why now? Why now? This malaria? How, I mean, 20 years to not have any fly mosquitoes, malaria carrying mosquitoes. Well, it turns out that Bill Gates is funding this some malaria, what kind of mosquitoes and something with malaria. Why? I mean, people. What do these rich people? What's wrong with these people? I mean, I think he's in his 70s. Why can't he just retire and just chill out somewhere? Why all this evil? Yeah, when I think about Bill Gates, I remember back in the day, everybody seemed to like Bill Gates, and he was always promoting a new software, operating system software for uh, the hardware, and he was deemed like, they really held him up. He's always smiling, but now this guy, I I don't understand what's making them act this way. Buying a property. Why am I sharing all these things that may seem to you unrelated? I think they're all related. Everything, every single thing I'm mentioning here, my seeing the vision of the spacecrafts, the dream about the police wearing the riot gear police wearing the Tiffany blue helmets and outfit, the malaria, new outbreak of malaria now. I think things are, oh, and plus Communist China, CCP, infiltrating the US. They're entering into our country by the thousands now. And I explained about what's called microaggressions. Microaggressions. People start noticing that people that never did anything to you, you may start be noticing certain things that might be said to you. And I mentioned about the incident that happened to me maybe 2 years ago, approaching 2 years ago. Someone from that looked like from that part of the world, new to my building. I've been here now 20 years, and this is close to 2 years ago. And I said hello, and I was trying to enter in my door. I had the stroller. And then he approaches me and asks this question. He had to repeat it 4 times because his accent was that heavy. And he was asking about my finances. I felt he was judging me and being biased whether he should be my friend or not based on my economics. I said, how dare you ask me a question like that? That I consider a microaggression when they're approaching you to find out should they or should they not, are you good enough for them? Isn't that cocky? This is my country. I'm born and raised here. And what's happened is that the cockiness of some of the people who are entering, initially they were very quiet. But I noticed over the years that these verbal attacks, as I consider them, are increasing, and they're getting more and more bold in their activity. And no, I am not suggesting of anyone to do any physical harm or harassment because what somebody looks like, because they might look like they're from that part of the world. That is not right. You go by what people specifically do to you, and you address the issue in a safe manner. Because, see, some things might be said to you to maybe test you or to agitate you, so then they can say, oh, this person tried to attack me. Be careful, people. Be careful. They might attempt to say something to someone because maybe they think, oh, you know what, this ethnic group is more physical and gets aggressive easy. So let's start a fight with this type of person to try to initiate conflict. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. And you may wish to maybe carry a camera. You may wish to do that. Things are happening and you want to protect yourself. Yeah, I want to limit. Yeah, I don't want to hang out outside. And now with the weather being so hot now, um, people when people get really hot and bothered, you know, you might have more fights. Avoid those places. Avoid foolishness. Avoid them. If you have children, teenagers, young adults, keep them at home, keep them busy. You don't want them to fall into a trap. You don't want them to fall into a trap. If you love your children, you'll be honest with them and do whatever it takes to keep them safe at home or accompany them. Don't let your children be used by the system to spark some type of race war or whatever war. You don't need it. You don't need it. Because with these little wars, your stores, where are you going to shop for your food? When you vandalize someone's property or vandalize a car, that's someone now who can't get to their job. They might need their car to go to work. Or what if it's an emergency and need to get to a hospital? Stop doing this foolishness and teach them the implicate when you do vandalism like that it affects the lives of many other people that are dependent on that car, that are dependent on that company that you ripped off, or you doing lighting it on fire. People got to eat. People got to get their provisions. And if you destroy your neighborhood, how the hell you going to take care of your families at home? Use your head. Use your head. People aren't using their head. And I think all these different elements that I mentioned in this live stream, I believe that they're all interconnected, that there are spacecrafts out there and they're waiting to do what they feel they need to do. They're there, they're waiting. The riot gear that I saw, the Tiffany Blue, it's a weird color blue. Was that a premonition of something that's ahead? That you know, I've never seen this type of blue, but I mean blue uniform. Was it the UN? Are the UN wearing funny blue uniforms? Why the malaria? Are they weaponizing these mosquitoes? It sounds stupid, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It sounds stupid. It says, well, spirit training sounds foolish saying that. No, it's not foolish. Go look it up about the new malaria outbreak in the U.S. Man-made. Could they not transport these mosquitoes in large cities like New York, Detroit, LA? Start noticing. Make sure, I just try to look up. Well, contact your doctor. You say, hey, I heard about this malaria thing. What do I do if I get a mosquito? What do you do? Maybe you can have something at home. Oh, you know what else? Remember last year, I was to move to Africa last year to Rwanda. I better take this thing out. I bought two things: a mosquito net. The people, yeah, you can buy it online. I have to have someone. I use tape to tape it up, but it keeps falling down. I have to get the people from my building to get a screw or something to get it up there. Um, yeah, get a mosquito net, because if you have to stay in your house and you have to have the windows open, let's say you don't have air conditioning or you can't afford it, and you have the windows open, get a mosquito net for you and your family, or you can maybe make one. Okay, look into that. Yeah, I had taken it out a couple of weeks ago actually, but it keeps falling off the ceiling. And there's this other thing that you can purchase online that I bought when I thought I was going to go to Africa, because yes, they got mosquitoes there. You wear it. It's a mosquito net outfit. It covers your entire head, and then it has a jacket with these mittens. You're completely encased in this net. And so if you let's say if it's a outbreak that happens in your city, maybe you can buy the outfit. I mean, I know it looks weird, you know, but you should dress according to your need. You should dress according to your need. See, they try to make you feel, oh, you're an oddball, or you're wearing a hat that covers your head from the sun. See, you think it's only for those what do you call it? Those colonials that invade Africa. Those clothing that they wore was for a reason. Malaria is not a joke. Those it's not a joke. And it can happen. It happened to me in the Caribbean. I had gotten dengue, and you get it from a mosquito bite. And you have now Bill, because it was a story mentioned about Bill Gates that he's funding experiments with these mosquitoes. Go check it out. If you think I'm just making up, check it out. Check out with this new malaria. The old malaria outbreak was in 2003, so 20 years later. And with the new migrants, just down the block is where they're housing some of the migrants from these areas. Don't you think I'm at risk? These mosquitoes might be coming on the bus with them or whatever. How it's here. It's here. It's in the US. And you have to protect yourself. It's hot. It's everything now. Everything is intensifying. You have to protect yourself. Yeah, I better get that outfit out. Yeah, if you can't afford that air conditioning and you got to have that window open, having that outfit, I better take it out. It's uncomfortable in the bed. But yeah, you get the mosquito net. Get the mosquito net for nighttime when you're sleeping. You might have little ones. What if you have little ones? You don't want the little ones to get malaria or any mosquito bite. It's horrible. It's horrible, these mosquitoes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's you have to use wisdom, and sometimes you have to go beyond feeling uncomfortable because you feel like you're looking crazy. By you might need to wear a mosquito outfit. Well, when that malaria bites you, you think the COVID, the the COVID-19, that was the common cold. But malaria is a biggie. I mean, that one you get a very high fever. It's not pleasant. Not you wouldn't want it. Yeah, I had malaria before. I forget how long it lasts. Yeah, I forget. It was many years ago. About 30 years ago I had gotten it. You don't I don't want it. And again, I'm older now. People are more delicate. When you get older, your body doesn't work the same. My body doesn't work the same being outside. I felt totally sick today. And this was early in the morning, and I hydrated. I took my electrolytes before I left, but I said I can't wait to get home. I felt sick. It was 83% humidity outside, and in the 70s. You feel like you just felt like out of it. Yeah, yeah. I think I covered. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Yeah, the signs of the times are here. And I mentioned a lot of different things, but I think they're all interconnected. Yes, they're all connected somehow. So, this is what I wanted to share with you, and start noticing and start preparing what you can prepare, especially those. mosquito nets. You can get one of those things for your bed. It's a canopy, a mosquito net canopy. Then they're not that expensive. And they have the thing that you can actually wear when you go outside. Wear long, maybe, long pants, socks, um, and closed toe shoes, um, and a hat. You know, do what you can to protect yourself. Okay. So I thank you, and if you have you want to add information, you can fill it in the comment section. And if you like this content and you want to support my channel, you can do so by PayPaling me. And to do that, go to my channel, Spirit Journey channel, and on the banner, the right side of it, you'll see my PayPal me link. Just click on the link, follow the prompts, and any amount will be appreciated. And I thank you in advance. I thank you. Yes, I thank you for your gifts. And if you can't give a financial gift, you can give me this thumbs up and just say hello, and that'd be good too. So I thank you again for listening, and start noticing, and ask people, hey, what's happening in your end of the woods? What are you experiencing? Are you meditating and then you're having these events, this vibration in your body? What's going on? Start asking. Okay. Take care and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye bye.